What's up, guys? Screwballs MMA here. Break it down. UFC Fight Night, Vallejos versus Emmet, and doing some matchmaking afterwards for some of the winners, some of the losers. I guess we'll start with the prelims. I actually missed this fight. I missed most of it except for round 3. Uh, I sort of watched it back, skipping a lot. Pretty much just kind of seemed like Pierre Rodriguez was able to land the bigger shots. I picked Sam Hughes. I thought she'd be able to kind of take the second and third round with pace and cardio, but she just couldn't handle the power and the pressure on the feet. And she was kind of just got beat up for all 3 rounds. You can see significant strikes by rounds. She got outstruck in every round, unable to get any takedowns. So, yeah, I think this was 30-27 by all 3 judges. Anyway, move up to Souza versus Lucerda. This is a pretty competitive-ish fight. It was a pretty decent fight. I also wasn't really paying attention for this fight either, I'm not gonna lie. But it was an okay fight. It was kind of just a little apex scrap. It's nothing too crazy. I believe one judge gave Luan Lucerda the first round, but yeah, unanimous decision win for Souza. All right, this is when things start to pick up a bit. Bia Mesquita is genuinely the best prospect, I think, in WMMA, currently unranked. She is very dangerous and she's very exciting from the top position. Maybe Hamza and Islam and Charles learned something here. How to do ground and pound to force a submission from your opponent. It was a flawless performance. Pretty much just ran through her in 2 minutes, took her down, started to beat her up with ground and pound, gave up position. She was submitted quickly. Next up, got Brad Tavares versus Eric, and this was actually a good scrap. I really did not expect it to be honest, but yeah, Eric Anders takes this by unanimous decision. 29-28 across the board. The second round was very good. Brad Tavares was able to drop him and land some good ground and pound. I thought Eric Anders actually might have gotten out of there, but he was able to reverse position and maintain the rest of the round kind of on top. But yeah, 1 and 3 were very clear for him, and he actually laid down the gloves and retired. I picked Eric Anders to get this one by decision, 28-28, and it was pretty correct. It was actually it was a lot better fight than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be a lot slower, but it was actually pretty good. Next we got Balaji Oki versus Manuel Souza. This fight almost went reverse how I thought it would, with Souza actually having the round 1 where he dropped him and almost finished him and then fumbled the finish. So it started to look pretty dim for Souza in round 2 and kind of the start of round 3, but then he really started to pick up the pressure and the volume. Was able to put away Balaji Oki with a nasty straight right hand. The end of the 3rd round, put him out bad. It was a really good KO, and it was a really good scrap before that too. So yeah, just volume and pressure. Round 2 was really good for Balaji Oki. Was able to land some good hooks, but Souza put him out. It was one of the better KOs of the year so far. So next up, we got Elijah Smith versus Yu Seng Yu, or Yu So Young. This was a very good performance from Elijah Smith. Round 1 was kind of close. They were Yu Sung Yu was able to take him down a few times, hit some nasty little grappling positions, and Yu Sung Yu, I believe he edged the round on all 3 judges' scorecards, but yeah, he did good to land. You can see 4 takedowns. Hit a few good single legs, good few positions. I believe Elijah Smith was able to reverse him at one point, and then Yu Sung Yu was throwing up some different submission attempts. But in round 2, this was a nasty finish. I believe it was a left hook, a lead hook dropped Yu Sung Yu, and then he was able to get the back. He jumped the back. He actually thought he was going to fall off because he only had 1 hook in, but he grabbed the neck. It was right under the neck, and Yu Sung Yu kind of dropped himself to the ground to try to push the arm up, but it was locked in very deep. Elijah Smith got a nasty submission finish via rear naked choke in the second round. Next up, dude, I don't care. This is still my boy. We are still the Asplin Nation. This was a good scrap, dude. Heavyweight actually has a few good prospects, which sucks that they put them together so soon. Because Victor Petrino, he's actually pretty good at he was a terrible light heavyweight, but heavyweights have no skill. So Steven Asplin, this was his fight to lose, to be honest. He kind of threw away this third round, and it was pretty unfortunate. So round one, um, Victor Petrino had a very big speed advantage, but at some point towards the middle of the round, Steven Asplin was able to land a good combination that dropped Petrino pretty bad and almost got the finish. Petrino got back up to his feet. But yeah, this was kind of a volume versus speed. But even then, Petrino was able to land the longer combinations throughout. As Asplin would overextend with his cross, he would get hit with like 3 hooks in a row and eat them like they were nothing. And these were fast, clean hooks. And I don't know how Asplin didn't get rocked or anything. He would literally like throw like a overextend on a 2, and Petrino would come back with a uppercut, left hook, right hook, left hook, and they'd all go through the guard and just clip him on the chin, and then he would try to throw back. But the calf kicks from Petrino and just the overall speed as Asplin started to slow down, because Petrino was visibly more gassed body language wise, but he was unable to. But he was still able to throw very quickly, and then he would kind of like literally run away from Asplin. So visually it was pretty bad, which is what made the third round pretty close. The second round was very clearly Victor Petrino. The thing with Petrino here in this fight, or Asplin, his takedown defense looked significantly improved from his fight with Denzel Freeman. I thought that was a big worry in this fight, is why I worried he was get submitted in the first round, but he didn't. But I want to talk about round 3 because this was kind of a blunder by Steven Asplin. Petrino was pretty much out of there. He got rocked on a few occasions, and he kept just running away. He would get rocked, and he would literally turn away from Asplin and run away. And instead of trying to cut him off, Asplin would just kind of point to the center and say, "Hey, come here." So kind of pretty bad fight IQ from Steven Asplin. I would have liked for him to kind of throw more volume against the fence against Petrino, but I think he was worried about the speed of the counters coming back at him. And Asplin's face was messed up very badly. I think that's kind of what won Petrino the fight. If Asplin's face wasn't as like cut, he had a cut on both of his cheeks, above his eye. So he was a bit of a mess in that fight. And was kind of, he wasn't rocked, he never got rocked, but he just was getting visibly damaged more than Petrino. Petrino was getting rocked and stumbling around. But yeah, in this third round, Asplin really should have pushed the pace a little more, and I think he would have been able to get this done because it was still very close. This third round sorta could have gone either way. But at the same time, he didn't do enough to get it done. So it's pretty unfortunate. I think Asplin's a good contender, and I think he'll be back and able to fight some more top level guys again. Now, Chris Curtis, Miktabek Oralbai. Miktabek Oralbai kind of just spammed grappling and takedowns throughout this whole fight. He was able to take down Chris Curtis over and over and over again. Lace his legs through it was pretty much just from the body lock. He would just mat return him over and over again. And Chris Curtis wasn't able to get any space. This was as good of a win as this one for Oralbai because it was incredibly dominant. His striking on the feet didn't look as crisp as maybe I would like to against a declined older Chris Curtis. It was pretty slow. On the feet, it was kind of not super good, but Chris Curtis just wasn't able to do enough. He got up to his feet and just kept getting mat returned over and over again. So yeah, it was a clean win. Almost broke the takedown record. Did break the welterweight takedown record, but a good win for Miktabek Oralbai, and I think he is a lot better in this welterweight division. Next up, Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. Charles Johnson got this done by split decision. A lot of people are crying robbery. I think Charles Johnson pretty clearly won this fight via round 1 and 3. Round 2 is actually pretty close. I rewatched this fight to make sure. Um, round 2 was a lot closer than I thought it was live. When I first heard that 30-27 scorecard, I was kind of baffled. But the judge that actually gave Bruno Silva the round gave him 1 and 3, which isn't what I thought they would. I thought 1 and 2 were the close rounds. I thought 3 was pretty clearly Johnson. He rocked Bruno Silva at the end with some elbows and some knees in the clinch. Yeah, early Charles Johnson was a bit skittish on the feet. I think that might be because he got KO'd a little while ago, and I saw him come out on Twitter and say he had a foot injury coming into this fight, which makes sense why he was backed up to the fence. Um, Early Bruno Silva was definitely a lot faster, as Charles Johnson is when he fights most people. He's usually the slower guy. He was able to come underneath with that uppercut, which he has a very good uppercut. He was able to use that good against Hung Sung Park. Dropped him a few times with an uppercut. But he wasn't able to get really any takedowns off on Charles Johnson when he backed him up to the fence. Charles Johnson was able to use the clinch to land really good knees and elbows towards the end of the first round, which is what I think won him that round. Round 2, close, but I think Bruno Silva was able to land some big shots. The commentators were kind of saying Bruno Silva was landing good shots when they were kind of hitting the arms of Charles Johnson or even hitting the shoulders, or they're just missing. And they're like, oh, good combination. Like 3 punches landed there when really it wasn't. Round 3, Bruno Silva was winning most of this round, but towards the end, Johnson landed a good elbow in the clinch that was able to rock him, and then he really put it on him, grabbing the tie clinch, throwing knees up the middle, elbows, and I thought he pretty clearly won this fight. 2-1. It's a good win for Charles Johnson, especially coming off a KO loss barely a month ago. So, yeah, on to the next fight. Ion Cutelaba versus Umar Sy. Umar Sy sucks. This guy got absolutely annihilated with a guillotine. It was a pretty nice guillotine transition, too. So, anyway, yeah, Umar Sy kind of sucks. It was a good win by Ion Cutelaba. This is what happens with Ion Cutelaba. He's inconsistent. Sometimes he comes in and does this. Now I expect him to get flatline KO'd by some random jobber in his next fight. Yeah, pretty not much to talk about. Just a good guillotine finish for Ion Cutelaba. Next up, this was a banger. This was a banger. When I say this was a banger, I mean it. Harry Hardwick is kind of a dog. People are calling him a quitter because of his 2 fights in the UFC. He did not quit in this fight. He had a broken jaw. He told his corner he didn't say he wanted it out. He seemed a little bit disappointed when his corner called it off, but it was the right decision to make. His jaw was snapped completely, very badly. If you've seen the picture of it, it was a very bad break. You could see it sticking out. Rahiki looks like either Harry Hardwick has a really good chin, or Rahiki doesn't hit hard at all, and he's like Paulo Costa, where he looks like he's hitting hard and he doesn't. But he would land like 6 clean, fast, fully extended hooks. Harry Hardwick would eat it and come back with like the weird, dinky looking shot, and it would boom, it would hit him and it would rock Rahiki. Round 1, I gave it to Harry Hardwick. I think 2 of the judges did as well. He jumped the back too. He almost got a rear naked choke in, and he was able to, even though his striking wasn't as clean and didn't look like it was landing as well as Rahiki, he was getting more reactions from Rahiki. So it was a pretty good round. Round 2 was a very scrappy, fun round, just like the first, a bit more intense. Rahiki was able to land a bit more clean. He landed some good elbows, and then he landed a left hook that just completely set off the jaw of Harry Hardwick. He told his corner, his corner called the fight. It was a good fight. I hope they keep Harry Hardwick around. He's actually pretty fun, and at featherweight he seems a lot better and a lot more stronger in these positions. Next up, Jose Miguel Dugato versus Andre Fili. Another split decision here that I don't know how was split. It's pretty clearly 2 and 3 to Jose Delgado. Some people think 20 seconds of takedown or 20 seconds of control on a takedown wins you a round. It doesn't. They did the same thing with Song Yadong versus Batista, or Song Yadong versus O'Malley. Takedowns don't mean anything, and control time doesn't mean anything unless your opponent does nothing beforehand or you don't do any damage. It's damage-based scoring. It's not control-based scoring. People still don't know that. It's whatever. So yeah, round 1. So Delgado was touching up Philly well, and then Philly lands a step-out hook that kind of it dropped him, but it doesn't count as knocked. He kind of went forward into Philly instead of like falling into the floor, but he did drop him. He hit him good with a good hook. Um, Delgado wasn't able to get his straight shots off as well as he normally was. Andre Fili was doing a good job of stepping out to the side and landing hooks. Cruz, you would know that because Cruz said it probably 100 times on commentary. By the way, the commentary tonight was abysmal as always with Cruz and Bisping there. Round two, Delgado was able to kind of work his way back into the fight, landed good kicks, landed a few good kicks through the guard of Philly, was able to get a few more punches off. He visibly hurt Philly at one point in this round. He got a good takedown in this round as well. Yeah, it was good. It was a good clear round for Delgado. Round three, more of the same, landing good kicks on the outside, touching him up, able to land some more shots. Kind of up close in the clinch, and then he overextended on a shot towards the end and got taken down by Philly, but it definitely wasn't enough for him to win the fight. Anyway, next up, Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. By the way, I picked Delgado by TKO. So yeah, it was a lot closer fight. Actually, go back to this for a second. This wasn't a good look for Delgado. This is not really a fight that Delgado should have made this close. This is someone I thought he would run straight through in the first round and KO, but he didn't. So that is a bit worrying for the future of Jose Delgado. But anyway, yeah, back to this fight. Lemos versus Robertson. This was a pretty good scrap, to be honest. Or not, I'm just kidding. No, this was a pretty average women's fight. Amanda Lemos does what Amanda Lemos does. Wings huge shots on the feet. She visibly kind of got the attention of Jillian Robertson in the first round, and Jillian Robertson got a bit of top control, but she got reversed and wasn't really able to do a whole ton with it. So it was a pretty clear first round for Amanda Lemos. Round two, a lot of control time for Jillian Robertson. Able to chain together some positional control and submissions. I believe she did get reversed towards the end of this round. No, that was the third. But yeah, Jillian Robertson was able to get a few submission attempts off, trying to kind of threaten some chokes. I believe she had the back at one point. Then at the end, Amanda Lemos went for a Kimura, though she was unable to get. Round three, bit more of the same. Able to get a takedown a bit earlier in the round. And then I believe Amanda Lemos got top control, landed a few ground and pound shots, and then Robertson reversed her again at the end of the round. It's a pretty clear 29-28 win for Robertson. This is the second best Canadian fighter. My country is cooked. Main event, we are the next featherweight champion. This was a amazing performance by Kevin Vallejos. This is impressive. As washed as I think Josh Emmett is maybe at this point in his career, nobody has done quite this to him on the feet. This was like kind of a condensed version of what Ilya did to him. Granted, I think Emmett's chin is a bit worse because of that fight with Ilya, but this was a beautiful first fight by Vallejos. Pretty much untouchable in this fight. He ripped the body well too. He hurt him the first time, and he was able to get back up to his feet, stayed composed, dropped him again, or didn't drop. He rocked him again, and he started throwing knees and 12-6 elbows to the body and the head, and it kind of forced Emmet to collapse on the ground. My wonderful mic died again. Our headset didn't die, but it disconnected again. So another great win for Kevin Vallejos, and I think he should be looking for a pretty high-ranked opponent next. He's looked incredibly impressive so far. And this guy's basically Taporia. He's a bit faster and throws together a bit longer combinations more consistently in open space. He doesn't quite have the same pop, but he still does have good pop, and he's clean on the feet. Landed a good jab hook, which was the first knockdown. And yeah, he put them together well. So bonuses were Vallejos, Souza, and the fight of the night was Rikiki versus Hardwick. Now on to some more matchmaking stuff. 1 second, let me fix this. Some more. Oh, are we still on? Okay, we are. More matchmaking stuff. If I could, Manuel Souza got his nice little win over Vallejos, and I think he should fight Elvis Brenner. This is a certified Apex banger. Brenner's been out for a little bit, after his loss to Rivovich, where he took a fair amount of damage in. So I think this is a good fight for both of these guys. They'll be swinging out in the pocket. I'd expect Souza to win this one, but Brenner may get his little round 3 comeback win like he does. He seems to build into fights. Anyway, up next, Elijah Smith, this win over Yuso Young. Good win. I think he should be looking for Rinya Nakamura. This is a pretty good grappling fight that they can have. I think Nakamura has a bit of an edge in the grappling, and I think that Mr. Smith has an edge on the feet. But I think they can both be competitive in both aspects. So I think this is a good fight. You could throw it on the prelims of a crowded fight night, even on the early prelims of a pay-per-view. I think this is a pretty good fight. Next up, we got Petrino. He had a good win over Steven Asplund, and I think they should give him Marcin Tybura, win or lose to Walter Walker. I think this is the test for Petrino. You got to get the Tybura test to see if you can grapple or do anything. If you have a major hole in this game, Tybura will find it, and he will fraud check you. So this is a good fight. This definitely screams fight night main card, featured fight, or 4th fight down. But yeah, next up, Mick the Bick Oral By. D-Rod. Get D-Rod out of the rankings, man. I think Oralby beats him pretty much everywhere. Maybe maybe D-Rod has a bit of a power advantage, but if D-Rod is out of prison, I think they should do this fight. Throw it on the prelims of a pay-per-view or something. Yeah. Oralby versus D-Rod. Next up, Charles Johnson got a decision win over Bruno Silva. I think they should give him Tagir Ulanbekov. Dude, this screams Abu Dhabi Fight Night prelim headliner. I think I'd actually favor Charles Johnson this one, but they're both long. A long striker versus a long grappler. So I think this is a good fight. Tagir's been out for a little bit, and I think he'll maybe take some more time off. He took a lot of damage from the Gooch. So I think, yeah, probably in June or July, they'll probably have a fight night in Abu Dhabi like they normally do. I think you throw this on there. Next up, we got Rahiki. I think they should give him Morgan Charrier. Charrier got flatline KO'd in his last fight. I think he'll be looking to take a bit more time off. They could maybe wait for the France card in September that they always do, or maybe August or July, somewhere around there. It's good to give a bit more time off for Morgan Charrier before he comes back because he got knocked out very badly. Next up, Harry Hardwick. I think they should keep him, and I think they should give him Ricky Tercios. Loser of this fight should get booted off the UFC. To be honest, the loser of this fight should be booted. But anyway, I think this is a good fight. I would actually favor Harry Hardwick in this one by submission. But I think this is a good fight. You could throw this on in an Apex card. You could throw this on a Fight Night card. I think it's a good scrap. And Harry Hardwick will probably be out until maybe the end of the year, I would say, with his jaw injury. Next up, Jose Delgado got his win over Andre Fili. I was hoping to bump him up a little bit more, but it was a pretty close win. So I thought I put Julian Arosa here, but I guess I put Chepe Mariscal. So it is still a step up. But yeah, I think they should give him Chepe Mariscal or Julian Arosa. I think this is good to throw on a fight night prelims. Yeah, Delgado's got some work to do, but he has a really good team with the MMA lab. And Sean O'Malley trains. Believe he trades at Red Hawk occasionally. So yeah, this is a good fight. Next up, we got Jillian Robertson. I think win or lose her next fight. She fights in 2 weeks. I think she fights in April. I think you should give her Tatiana Suarez. You could give her Verna Jandiroba as well. Either or is fine. But I think Jillian Robertson needs one more title elimination bout, and then you could throw her in the title picture. Next up, and finally, Kevin Vallejos. Yair Rodriguez. He said September, UFC no Shay. I think you could do this in maybe July or maybe International Fight Week. Vallejos took no damage. I believe Yair's coming off his hand injury, so he should be back around that time too. I think International Fight Week this would work really well. Main card, not main card opener, but maybe like the fourth fight on the card, or you could do it. If it is McGregor, then this would probably be the co-main. Um, but yeah, I think this is a good scrap. I think this is actually maybe the trickiest matchup on the feet for Vallejos at this weight class. Um, with this kind of boxing tight style, rangy kickers can be a big deal. We saw Giga have a bit of success early in that fight with body kicks and head kicks. So I do think this is actually a very competitive fight compared to what many people think. But I do think this is a very good fight for Vallejos if he can get past Yair. And if he does, it's probably by KO, which would be incredibly impressive. I don't know if anyone has ever KO'd Yair on the feet. Volk TKO'd him. Maybe sort of a headbutt and then a takedown and was able to ground and pound him out. But Yair is tricky on the feet. I think he's a bit underrated because his grappling stinks, but Vallejos isn't going to grapple. He might mix in a takedown here and there, but mainly he's coming out to strike. But anyway, that's my UFC Fight Night Vallejos versus Emmet breakdown, reaction, and fights to make afterwards. Trying to upload a little more and get a few more videos out this week. Anyway, see you in the next one.